Sean Flynn, you guys have heard a lot. You guys have heard a lot about control of the House of Representatives. Okay, this is why this race is so important. The control of the House of Representatives, whether Nancy Pelosi becomes our speaker, well, it could come down to this race. Sean Flynn could be the Dave Brat of 2018. He really could. That's not an idle boast. The media loves to talk about how the Democrats have this energy, but what they don't talk about are all the races where the Trump districts where Republicans are doing well. They don't talk about that, including 4 districts in California, which could be a Republican pickup, including this one. So the history of this race, it's Congressional District 31, Rancho, goes up San Bernardino, Highland, Loma Linda, Redlands. It was held by Jerry Pork Lewis for forever. 2012, we had the top 2 kicked in, and Gary Miller won that race. In that year, it was a majority Democrat district by about 6 percentage points. But despite that, Pete Marxist Aguilar managed to lose it. He's that bad as a candidate. It's only because of some cheating, I think, that he actually got involved, that he actually won this thing. So Pete Aguilar, if you saw the Politico, is now a real doofus, even among Democrats. Because we could have some more top 2 situations where Republicans win majority Democrats, I think it was Tucano in Palm Springs who says, hey, I don't want to get Aguilar, right? Pete Aguilar is now a verb for an incompetent candidate. That is Pete Aguilar, because they're worried about what can happen to Aguilar. Other candidates are worried. So in 2014, Pete won by less than 2 points. In fact, there was a while on election night that Paul Chabot was actually ahead. If it hadn't been for some little punk named Ryan Downing, a Democrat plant who didn't even live in San Bernardino County, didn't live in the district, his campaign website was full of that internet gibberish, if you've ever designed a website. And he had a picture with him with the Golden Gate Bridge, okay? But if your name just appears on the ballot, you're gonna pull away about 4% of votes, even if you do nothing. He did nothing other than a few signs. As a result, Leslie Gooch finished 3rd by just 209 votes. If it hadn't been for Ryan Downing, Pete Aguilar probably wouldn't be in Congress today. That's why every vote counts. So in 2016, Democrats, realizing that they almost lost a district that they should have won, magically, Pete Aguilar won by 12 points, okay? That does not happen without cheating. You don't go from 2 to 12 points in 2 years without some cheating. And credit to the Riverside County District Attorney, Halperin, he's been persecuting some of this. And I think stats show since Trump has been president, illegal alien voting has really plummeted. So, and it was a Los Angeles city or county race where only 9% of the voters showed up. And a lot of that is because of illegal aliens are afraid of Trump. So it's a sure sign of voter fraud, and if you ever need a good reason to help the Election Integrity Project, that's it. So in 2018, Sean is now the only Republican in the race. He's the only one that had the cojones to actually jump in a race with a well-funded Democrat candidate in a majority Democrat district. That's a testament to his character. I was a reporter for 20 years, covered a lot of politics, and it takes a lot of guts to run for office, especially when you're outgunned or out-financed like Pete. Anyway, Sean, excellent candidate. He wrote a book called Economics for Dummies. And he is a economics professor at Scripps College. He spoke on a National Tea Party Patriots webinar a few weeks ago. That's an honor we don't give to very few people. He's a solid conservative, very approachable, and he's also a great retail candidate compared to, he is absolutely everywhere. Do you guys remember the Chicken Man radio show? Okay, maybe it dates me. He's everywhere, he's everywhere. He absolutely is everywhere. So I want to introduce Sean Flynn, but first, I want to say, it's good to come to the meetings, it's good to put in a yard sign, but I want to give Sean Flynn for Congress my beer money for the month, okay? Here's a check for $20. It doesn't say a lot about my beer selection. But I just want to say, I'm going to put my sweat and now a few dollars into Sean Flynn. So Sean Flynn, thank you very much.
And if you know how much he likes beer, this is a sacrifice for this man.
Yeah, before you speak, Sean, Paul Chabot once told me that no real American in his right mind would run for Congress. So which is it? Not a real American, or you're not in your right mind?
Well, Paul Chabot was a fine American and a great candidate, and if that's the kind of mission he wants to run, I'm with him, right? And I'd like to think that I only have a right side of my brain as a Republican, and that's good enough, right? We've got too much left brain in this country. So I just, I don't want to talk about myself here. I want to talk about this year and the prospects for the party, for conservatives more importantly, because you can be a conservative without being a Republican. The only way for me to win this race, though, as a conservative, is to be a Republican. And well, first of all, we're going to win this race, but more importantly, how many people, I was only a little kid, but how many people remember the year of Prop 13? Okay? Yep. Who was governor?
Brown.
Jerry Brown. Okay? You got to remember these political tidal waves. Trump is an outlier. Trump built his own tidal wave, right? But that's not normally how things work. These political tidal waves, and when you turn an entire state around and you rebuild things and you get conservative principles back into government and you have low taxes and you have less regulation, they need a catalyst typically. They need a spark to get things going. We have to really step back. Before you're looking at 1978 and Prop 13, you have to remember this golden state of ours has flirted with left-wing radicalism for the last 150 years. You go back to the 1890s, there was a socialist party here that was really active. They almost won the governorship several times in a row. You go back into the 1930s, super far left in this state, right? But each time, the people on the left pushed it too far and did something really stupid, and then it woke up everyone who'd been a little bit asleep, right? This is the golden state, and with perfect weather, you could get a little lazy here. This isn't like living in New Hampshire or, God help you, New York, where I used to live, where, the winter is brutal every year, and if they've made the economy so bad you can't afford heating oil, you notice it immediately, right? Things are a little easier here, so they can screw things up a little bit more before we notice. This year, the thing that's going to do it is the gas tax, okay? As John said, I'm all over the district, and one of the things I like to do, because I need to do it if we're going to win this race, is go into the poorer parts of the district. So if I'm in San Bernardino, and I don't mean the nicer parts of San Bernardino, I mean places that have been completely brutalized by progressivism, by the breakdown of our schools, by the breakdown of our churches, by the breakdown of law and order. If you go in those places and you talk to people, they can't afford gas now. You'll be having conversations and people say, yeah, I wanted to drive to see my grandmother in, wherever it is, and I couldn't go last weekend because I couldn't afford it, right? That extra, 12 cents, 20 cents a gallon, that really matters, right? These people get it. And I was standing there while a woman was signing petitions, and this was at a Christmas toy giveaway, right? So families that could not even afford the simplest toy for their children, I'm standing in line, listening, having conversations. These people are brutally being brutalized, and they know it by the Democrat Party. So that's our thing. This year, it's not Prop 13, right? Because those of you who are around, I was just a little kid, and I remember my dad just sort of, he was Irish, he sort of clicked his heels and jumped like a leprechaun. And he's a big guy, he was 6'3", it was fun to watch him do that. But this is our thing this year. It's going to be the gas tax. And the way we're going to take back the state, simply, and actually, how many of you, some of you are retired, but how many of you are getting a paycheck? Did any of you get some Donald Trump money in there? Yeah? Anybody? Okay, great. Knocking on doors the other day, talking to a guy who repairs forklifts for a living in the logistics centers out here. He told all his Democratic friends, because they go out to lunch every other week when they get their paycheck, he said, hey, guys, you guys are Democrats, but guess what Donald Trump just did? Donald Trump is buying us lunch. Donald Trump is buying us lunch every week, right? That's money in their pocket. So all we have to do to win this race is keep reminding people, on the one hand, got the Republican Party on the right, lowering your taxes. You got Donald Trump putting more money in. Right, John, were you saying how many crumbs are you going to get this year? Your accountant told you, right?
Yeah, 3.5 crumbs in my 2018 tax return.
Yes, $3,500 more for him, his wife, and their lovely son, right? because of Donald Trump. You remind people of that, and at the same time, so that's what the right's doing for you. Lowering your taxes, putting more money into your pocket. If you're running a small business, you got more money to reinvest and hire people. And then on the other side, the Democrats want to raise your taxes. Sometimes they do it a little bit more out in the open by raising the gas tax. Other times it's a little more sneaky, like cap and trade. But they're going to raise your taxes, raise your taxes, raise your taxes. And one thing I wanted to add to our two candidates here about the homeless thing, if you go talk to the county sheriffs, you go talk to the local police now, a lot of the explosion of homelessness is because of like AB 109, Prop 47, Prop 57. There are people who should be in jail who are now out homeless, right? Anyone who has committed crimes that are making it even worse, and we found this out about the Parkland shooters, right? The Obama administration passed a law that basically harshed on any principals, school districts that didn't want to, that was willing to expel students, right? Under the old rules pre-Obama, the Parkland shooter kid would have been expelled from school, he would have had a record, and the mental health authorities would have known about the kid. It was actually deliberate government policy that made it so that these schools were actually incentivized financially not to throw anyone out, right? That's the kind of stuff we're up against in Washington, and among the other things I want to fight is just, we need to protect our children, we need to protect our families. But the reason I'm going to get there, and the reason these guys are going to get there, is because taxes. People see the money. It's the most obvious thing to them besides the potholes and the homeless. And goodness knows, everyone knows the potholes and the homeless aren't on the Republican Party, that's on the Democrats. But when you add into it, Republicans lower your taxes, Democrats raise your taxes, that is the beginning of the movement that will get rid of Jerry Brown once again and get good people into office who can completely reform this state, okay? And I want to say thank you to both the candidates tonight. That was feisty, but what that shows you is you're just like Donald Trump. Because some people don't like Donald Trump, some people say he should, tweet a little bit less, but Donald Trump is a fighter. Donald Trump always fights, and Donald Trump never stands down, and Donald Trump never lets the other side with their socialism and their progressivism get away with it. He always calls them out at a minimum, and he usually also steers around them and confuses them and gets his way, right? It's been a great year. So I want to thank both of these gentlemen for both being fighters in the same mold. Thank you.